Every nation together. Every generation together. Every generation together.
I say, come. I say, come. I say, come, my brothers and sisters, and let we build a beautiful nation together. I want to welcome you to the hub. I had some technical difficulties earlier and I was trying to rectify that. And finally, we are here. We are on the journey, the hub. We have 1 hour or under 1 hour to discuss. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. And we're going to start off on a positive note tonight. For a long while, we have not had some good stuff coming from GIS and the other news outfits. So we're going to start off on a positive note tonight.
Beneficiaries of the Beryl Relief Income Support Program, BRISP, are expressing heartfelt gratitude to the government for stepping in during their time of greatest need. BRISP, a joint initiative of the Ministry of Social and Community Development and the United Nations World Food Program, was created to provide financial assistance to individuals who lost their jobs, businesses, and livelihoods as a result of Hurricane Beryl. The 6-month program, which began in November 2024, has supported approximately 800 citizens across several parishes. Two recipients, Sherry Ann Bonnet of Brunswick Carriacou and Lawrence Blair of Petit Martinique, shared their appreciation for the relief provided through the program.
I was so happy. I was very, very happy because I didn't know where the little income coming in, because where I used to work, everything got mashed, roof blown off, everything. I was able to use the money by buy my mom medication, food stuff, get little stuff for the kids, and so on.
I lost my boat, my whole, everything was gone, my fish pot, everything. I made a new start, building a boat. Yeah.
Residents of Carriacou, Petit Martinique, St. John, St. Andrew, St. Patrick, and St. Mark, who were affected by Hurricane Beryl, were eligible to apply for assistance under the BRISP program.
Yes, so that's a very good program. Quite a number of people got assistance under that program. Let us continue with some positive stuff. All right.
My name is Lyselle Walcott. I'm a staff nurse and presently been a staff nurse at the General Hospital for the past 16 years. At the Infection Control Department, what we do surveillance for communicable diseases. We do surveillance for hospital-acquired infections. We do outbreak investigations related to our hospital-acquired infections. So any issues we have, we would investigate it, find out the cause, and we would do our interventions, recommendations and interventions to all relevant departments. Thus far, with Mount Sinai, we have looked at hand hygiene. We are looking at ways of improving hand hygiene, especially when it comes to compliance among all staff. Hand hygiene has been proven to be one of the most important practice you could do to break the chain of infection, thus reducing infections transmitting from one patient to another or from staff to patients. Working along with Mount Sinai, I foresee that it will be a very good thing for us, especially working with our hand hygiene campaign that is going on now. They are looking into the products that we use, the practices that we do, to find out any loopholes, any gaps that exist. We're gonna address it, and going forward we'll be able to achieve a very high level of compliance amongst our staff. So high compliance is relatable to good care being delivered and safety across the board for everyone. I love being a nurse because it is challenging I like helping people, but from an infection control standpoint, I am fascinated by bacteria, unfortunately. There are so many avenues, there are so many things. And in my opinion, I always say, being a nurse reminds you of God. Life is very tangible. You are reminded of that aspect, and then you are also reminded of the fact that you are making a difference. The simple things you do make a big difference in the outcome of a patient care for the relatives and everyone involved. So it is very rewarding, but it keeps you grounded because it's like God is still God. I'm looking forward to the new things they would bring on board for us. They have a lot to offer. And from my department, I'm eager to learn everything that they have to give and to teach and to share. The methods have been proven, so we could only go up from here.
Yes, so that's Project Polaris. That's the new relationship forged with Mount Sinai Hospital, United States, New York, and the General Hospital here in Grenada. And what I love is that they're not only focusing on a new hospital, but they're trying to upgrade, enhance, better the old structure and the old system of healthcare, the General Hospital. So every now and then you're getting a little snippet, a little piece of what they have done. Only recently we heard the Minister of Health speaking about work to be done in a number of wards at the hospital. And now you're hearing about the relationship forged with Mount Sinai and how it's bearing fruits, how things are improving.
In an update during a press briefing on Monday, Health Minister Philip Telesford outlined several key projects and initiatives aimed at advancing government's commitment to patient-centered care. Telesford revealed that government has identified 6 strategic pillars to guide the move towards integrated healthcare. These include, but are not limited to, leadership and governance, health service delivery, and health system financing. According to the minister, these strategies form the backbone of a national framework designed to enhance the health and overall well-being of Grenadians.
Increase DMO coverage at medical stations. We continue to work and employ our DMOs as we have them qualified in the system. Weekly workplace visits and media outreach to promote men's health awareness named Blue Fridays.
Telesford also addressed the growing concern of kidney disease, highlighting the government's ongoing efforts and targeted intervention to combat the issue.
And we know how costly it is, so we continue to screen and encourage early screening. We continue to work with the population to ensure that we're well educated to be able to treat with these illnesses.
He added that plans are underway to upgrade infrastructure of several major medical facilities across the island to support improved service delivery.
Infrastructural upgrades undertaken and other planned for several health facilities across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. In addition, several wards at the General Hospital are scheduled for renovation to improve service delivery and patient care.
Another critical area of focus is HIV/AIDS. The minister stated that improving access to medical care for those affected remains a top priority.
Integration of the HIV/AIDS into primary health care to improve access and equity and strengthen the continuity of care. That, again, is very important. For those of us who do not know, AIDS and HIV has been on the rise, so we have to continue to work towards curbing this illness.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles echoed that message, noting that HIV healthcare has now been integrated into the broader national health system to ensure easier and more equitable access for all in need.
I don't recall us saying that there's an increase in HIV, but it was stated that we are integrating HIV care into primary health care. Every year, we generally pick up between 20 and 30 new cases annually. That's new infections.
For MTV News, Rachel Bain.
Right. So, things are happening in the healthcare sector in the country, and that's really good. Still sticking with positive news. On August the 1st, we will be celebrating Emancipation Day.
Canadian historian Dr. Angus Martin is welcoming the decision to officially move the observance of Emancipation Day to August 1st, describing it as a long overdue correction to how the nation commemorates the abolition of slavery. Dr. Martin, who has long advocated for the change, says recognizing Emancipation Day on the actual date of the 1st gives the observance greater historical and cultural significance. He believes it also provides an opportunity to deepen national education on the legacy of slavery and the journey to freedom.
Emancipation Day was not always celebrated as Emancipation Day, but there was always a holiday that connected with it. But over the years, there have been more advocacy for a specific type of commemoration, recognizing its importance to Grenada and Grenada's history and Grenadians. So I think over the years, we have seen a greater effort to celebrate Emancipation Day as something that's important to Grenadians, because it's the day that Grenadians achieved that freedom from generational enslavement. So the legislation recognizes that and places the importance. I think now one of the things that we need to work towards is the advocacy, and now has to move towards education.
Previously, Grenada marked Emancipation Day on the first Monday in August. However, new legislation passed in both houses of Parliament paved the way for the day to be officially observed on August 1st. The move aligns Grenada with several other Caribbean nations that already observe the day on its actual historical anniversary. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Senator Quince Britton, explained the rationale behind the legislative change and emphasized the cultural significance.
We recognize the holiday as the first Monday in August, but now we change the legislation where we are going to, from going forward, we are going to celebrate or recognize the 1st of August as a more significant time, given how it used to be, well, back then in 1838 when slavery was abolished. It was on the 1st of August in which it's recognized. So we see it as more important, and this recommendation for the change in the legislation did not just come about like that. It was through the Cultural Foundation and the committee, the Reparations Committee. It was a collaborative effort in which they made the recommendation to government, and there was a lot of consultation and so on. So hence the reason why we see it now as the most important date to be recognized. And of course, as with every holiday, if the holiday falls on if the day falls on a Sunday, we will recognize the other day as well. So we see it as being more significant, and we would want the entire nation to rally around the celebrations committee.
This year's observance will take place under the theme Remembering Our Past, Reclaiming Our Roots, and Empowering Our Future. Activities will begin on Thursday, July 31st with a National African Wear Day, followed by a watch night event and cultural showcases.
We decided to do two things significantly. One is to have what we call a watch night. And we go back into the minds of the slave, what it would be like knowing that the next day on the 1st would be your day of freedom. So we initiate a watch night, and in that occasion, we have decided to invite as many of the religious groups, spiritual organizations. So the Anglican, the Adventist, the Catholic, we want to have choirs, we want to have drama, we want to have dances. And then we also invite IFA. We invite the Baptists, we invite the Rastafarians, and that night, which is the Thursday night, the 31st of July, we are going to bring all of them to celebrate and to ensure that the place is blessed. And at the end, in the last hour, we are going to have a drum circle. And in that drum circle, the whole idea is that we are going to invite our drummers or dancers or singers to have an informal meet and celebrating the fact that this next day would be Emancipation Day or holiday. So that is what one of the things planned. The Thursday is also carried to be a national African wear day. So where we'll be asking the population to come out with your African wear. It is a working day to be, clad in your African wear, be proud of who you are. There would go to be arts and craft, and the arts and craft and the agricultural industrialization. All these will be taking place from Thursday and again going on until Friday at the bus terminus in Grenville.
On Friday, August 1st, the celebration continues with a traditional breakfast at the Grenville Car Park, marching bands, flambeau, and a vibrant evening of cultural performances.
The marching bands would proceed straight from Grenville onto Sobeys. They would meet the other flambeau marchers, so the people with flambeau, and they would accompany them back to Grenville. And when that is over, they are going to be assembling at the bus terminus. And there we are going to be having the stage performances with bands like Privileged Band. We have Culture Train. We are going to be having people like Turkey and Wizard and Scholar and Enma Payne and Cut Allen. We're going to be having groups like Tivoli Drummers and Lion Pride and Spiceland Dancers. So there is a whole program that we have carried for those two occasions. And interposed with that would always be some aspect of education and awareness as we let people know the significance of the day and some of the historical facts that was actually unearthed by Dr. Angus. So in a nutshell, I might probably leave out one or two things, but that is an idea. That is what we plan to do and for the celebration of emancipation for this first August the 1st.
Dr. Martin says now that the date has been corrected, it's time to focus on deepening national understanding of what emancipation meant and still means for the Grenadians.
Yes. So again, Emancipation Day on August the 1st, the real day. All right. That is good. That is wonderful. Still keeping with some positive news because I believe that is important.
Minister for Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development, Honorable Joseph Andal, says many opportunities lie ahead for Grenadians from the government's interactions with friendly countries. Minister Andal, who was a guest on the GIS Spice Morning program on Wednesday, said these are also resulting in more scholarship opportunities for those involved in the field of agriculture.
Just recently, for example, the School of Agriculture of the University of Guyana has extended a further 9 scholarships to Grenadian students in the field of agriculture. We have been engaging with countries such as Serbia, which are offering scholarship opportunities to Grenadian students, Republic of Georgia, Brazil, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and lots of other areas that traditionally we have not been engaging with. We are going out there seeking and gaining the opportunities for our young people to be skilled, to be trained in a wide range of areas. We continue to promote Grenada's products and to expose them as much as possible to international markets.
Yes, so that's the Honorable Joseph Andal announcing some new scholarships, new opportunities, and the work that his ministry continue to do to get more and more opportunities for our people. Folks, I want to address this. You see, there are some talk show hosts and hostesses who continue to cross the line of information dissemination. You see, you can have a program, you can have a show, but when you go into people's personal stuff, and when you are causing other people to be extremely uneasy, not knowing whether they can lose their jobs, or not, because for some strange reason you get some private information from an institution that is well regarded, well respected, and because you don't have sense, you don't know how to throw that information out there, and you put it out there as though it's a big sin, folks, this is crossing the line. If a person is pursuing a master's degree, that person may or may not be late when submitting assignments. So a particular course, you may get a C, you may fail that course. But that doesn't mean to say that you cannot do it again for people who know about university life. But to leak, for someone to leak that information of a student to that particular individual, and she believes that what she's doing is a prudent thing, it's a wise thing. It is not, because that could happen to any other student, and that can damage that learning institution, because other students in that particular university will now be questioning whether or not their information could be thrown out there, placed out there, all in the name of politics, all in the name of exposing what and what. And you ask yourself, what can this individual get by doing these things? Compromising the institution, because the institution is now compromised. Because I understand that the individual will advance, uh, you know, whatever he has to advance to the institution, right? Seeking a full investigation of this, and ultimately there will be people who will be affected. So you may get information from who and who, maliciously so, but you're not prudent enough to understand the implications that it can have. What you're looking for, likes, what you're looking for, viewerships, what you're looking for. But mind you, that individual will not talk about the lawsuit. That individual will not even talk about the next lawsuit that's coming that that individual knows about. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow or next week. That person will be again sued. And there's another lawsuit coming after that one. So it's 3 plus what gone already. But that individual will not talk about that. But to put people's information in the public space. Remember, if a student is attending a university, there is a confidentiality clause that must be adhered to by all staff members. You ought not to leak to any source people's confidential stuff. So while the individual believes that what the action that he or she did, right? Because I don't even know the gender, to be clear, to be not just to be straight with you. I don't know the gender, but I'm saying these things should not be thrown out in the public domain, because one, you will not get anything out of it. You won't, because that's a old stuff, right? Old. If you look at the date of what the individual put up, that's old. In fact, the new stuff, the new grades show differently, right? Differently. But those things happen. especially when you're juggling work and studies. So it's not anything new. People who attend university, who know about those things, they will relate to those things. Submitting a late assignment, right? That kind of thing. It can cause you, it can land you to be. So what would you gain? What you're hoping to gain out of this? Maybe you might cause one or two persons to lose their work, right? You love that. I want to know. It's that is what you want. I want to know. So you going out there, right? You're not going to put the other grades where he got A and B and so on. You're not going to put that out. All right? And you're not going to put out the recent grades, right? During the budget debate, he was preoccupied, always out there. So we kind of understand. But you're not going to put out the grades, the recent grades. You're not going to put that. The A and the B for the two courses. You're not going to put that out there. No, because it's not in your favor. But you're going to put out these things, May, somewhere down there, because what you want to achieve out of that. But why would an institution leak that kind of stuff? There must be an investigation. This is a international institution. So for your hand to be on this particular stuff, it has to come from somewhere. It has to come from somewhere. So an investigation will be done, and somebody or a number of people will get fired, and you're okay with that because you have a talk show and you believe by putting these things out there, you may get more people to follow you. What you hoping to achieve? Because the majority of students or people who went to university will not like that. So you will not achieve anything greater or anything more for any political organization or any individual. Because people who went to university, they know the struggles, especially those who have to juggle work and study. And not just work, but work in that particular area. And it's not a sin, it's not a biggie. People fail courses. They do over courses. They resubmit assignments and all these different things. So this is not, unusual or unique to just the individual. But I'm saying you have hundreds and hundreds of Grenadians who studied, who pursued a university degree at different levels, maybe a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or so. And they know. So to put that out there thinking that you're going to get somewhere, you're actually helping the individual, and you don't even know that. There are more people who are sympathetic to the individual because a person's information like that should never, ever be in the public space. Never. And the individual who name is mentioned there, I know the individual very well. I know Satish Bidasi very well. Very, very well. Years of relationship. All right. And it is very concerning. Very, very concerning. So now you have him. He will be compromised, right? And poor the gentleman. He may not know anything about this, right? He's a person of high, regards and principle and decency and ethics, and I know the individual. So the question now is, who will leak this or put this out there? You have hundreds of students. Why choose this one? And there are hundreds of students who have a similar situation. Why choose this one? Why put out this one? Why? So you do this thing on a program, but you're compromising your source. You're compromising everybody in that department. Everybody in that department. Sad. Sad. Okay, see, some of these people, they're not smart. You're a talk show host or hostess. Somebody leaked this information to you. Firstly, you have to think. Think. This university is a world class institution. It has students from all over the world. You don't want to jeopardize the university. You don't want to compromise the lecturer or lecturers or the person in charge of that program or department. You don't want to do that. You don't. And what you have with this young man, what you hate so much, he's pursuing a master's degree, right? He's not perfect. He got, only tonight I saw, he got A's and B's just the same. Just the same. But at this particular course, you get a C or whatever. I mean, what were you so obsessed with this young man? And as a mother and a grandmother, you should know better. You should be a better example. This individual is a mother and a grandmother. And this is the kind of behavior she's engaged in. It's sad. Very, very sad. And if you have students out there now, you have young people who want to pursue something and to have a better life. So they have to be concerned that the information can be leaked to the public like this. Come on. Come on. There must be some line that you don't cross. And you see that one? You see that line? You don't cross that line. For what? You're going to make people, by you doing this, you're going to cause people not to vote or support the individual? Come on. Under the NNP, there were candidates and members of parliament, people who won their seats, became ministers of government, who never completed university. A lot of them, they never started university, they never went there. Some of them never even completed TAMCC, college, some. That was not a sin then. That was not a problem then. I mean, it is really, really sad. But Grenadians are condoning this. You could imagine this individual leaking, putting in the public your child's, your daughter, your son's grades or information, personal information about their education, about their studies. Just think about it. Sometimes you have to put yourself in people's position. Just pause for a moment. and think about it. You have a daughter, you have a son, and here you have this talk show hostess who, for some reason, dislikes your daughter, dislikes your son, or just hate them altogether, right? And she then takes that information and puts it out there. Do you think that's fair game? Puts that confidential stuff, compromising the institution, compromising the workers at the institution. Because it might just be one person somewhere, somehow, who leaked this thing to the individual. But the whole department is now compromised because of this. This is no easy matter. No, because the university has certain protocol, certain systems in place, certain safeguards in place to prevent these things. There is a line that you ought not to cross, and that's one of them. What do you hope to gain out of this? What? What do you hope to gain out of this? And any political party who would embrace these kind of things, you have to be very, very careful with them. Very, very careful with them. And I just hope that you can see your children through this, see your friends through this. Leaking a person's stuff. The guy has not even completed his master's degree yet. He has not even completed it yet. Still submitting all his assignments and other things like that's normal, doing projects and other things. Come on. Grenadians will support this. A political party will support this. Come on, man. Come on. You've crossed the line. It's like, a person who hates you so much, dislikes you, right? Or dislike you so much that they would come in a space and take a video, but your daughter, your underage daughter is in it, or your son, or your kid, or your child is in that video. And they will just publish it, not even being concerned about your child or children. That's how it feels. There must be a line that you dare not cross. That one is one of it. And for some people who looked at her stuff, I mean, they're concerned about her mental health. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not able to see that she has any mental health issues. But people are concerned, and they're expressing it. They're expressing it. But Grenadians, you got to use this as a case in point. This could happen to your daughter. This could happen to your son who is at university, studying and working. And because that person hates your daughter, your son, or the institution that they're working in or a part of, they're going to just leak the confidential stuff in the public domain. What do you hope to gain from this? That's the lowest one can go. That's the lowest. So now, workers in that department, they know by tomorrow an investigation will commence. There will be a lot of meetings. There will be a lot of stuff being discussed about this in that department, and somebody will be held accountable. That's university. But she doesn't care about whether or not a person loses their job or whether they keep their job. She doesn't care about that. She says it You know, what do you get out of it? What do you get out of it? I want to know. I really want to know. It's sad because I know Satish Bidasi. I think he is Trinidadian. Very nice gentleman, very decent person, very ethical person. But to have this in the public domain and you believe that you're doing a good to who? To who? I would love to know. It's terrible. And I can tell you, heads will roll and the university would have to put safeguards in place to prevent these things from happening. And I'm not accusing the university of anything because I don't think that the university would leak anything like that. I don't think so. I don't think the department would leak anything like that. I don't think so. But there will, from time to time, be some silly person with an agenda who believes by doing these things may get them somewhere. It's sad. Sad. But I want you to see your children, your young ones, in that same picture. What if it was them? So not because you have a talk show program, you believe you can just put stuff out there and compromise who and who and who. But people must be afraid, and they should be afraid to give this individual stuff. They have to be afraid. Because you may give her or him stuff and your job might be compromised. The thing might lead right back to you. So you should be concerned. Very concerned too. The amount of people who reached out to me tonight saying, "Hey, Kim, did you listen to..." They sent me, the documents and whatever in circulation. I mean, it's just terrible. Terrible. But we have to learn from this. We have to learn from this. At the end of the day, plenty lawsuits. And the individual will be very, very busy in the next 3 to 6 months, back and forth by lawyers, back and forth in the court, back and forth fighting these legal challenges. So prepare for it. It's coming, and coming fast. Not because you have a mic, not because you have a program. It means you can just say anything. It means that you can defame people. You can slander people and get away with it. No. There are some people who will not be bothered with you at all. But there are some people who are going to take you to the cleaners. They will go at you hard. Trust me. That's a low blow. Very, very low. I don't know how people could embrace this individual. It comes across like your daughter who is underage. She's in her bedroom, right? She's in her bedroom, and somebody who lives next door will take a phone or a camera and, and snap her or record her or video her. And that person believes it's fair game because they're the neighbor, they're in their house, and they're looking out of the glass window. But it's a child, right? Come. You have to know when you cross the line. And this is one. And people who listen to this individual, who follows this individual, they need to tell her, you crossed the line. That's a no-go area. You cross the line. Because there are a lot of people in Grenada who started university, who completed university, and who are in a better position economically and otherwise. But they never had it all smooth every time for all the courses. No, for a lot of people, it was challenging. They got knocked down, but they never stayed there. They kept trying, and then they finally were successful. But you don't do those things. Nope. And my thing is that what you hoping to gain from it? What? A lady called me, she said to me, look, she went in a certain place with her passport and Tutu's information was out there. It's as though confidentiality means nothing anymore. Privacy means nothing anymore. But folks, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the program. I want to wish you all the best. Take good care and bye for now. I have to wrap it up at this point in time.